I watched my wife of 7 years kiss her boss's best friend at a holiday party in front of 200 people. When his surgeon wife slapped him so hard the entire ballroom went silent, I thought that was the worst moment of my life. I was wrong. The hotel security footage she showed me next revealed 4 secret meetings, and the corporate files I uncovered revealed something even darker. My wife wasn't just cheating, she was committing federal crimes. Viewers, when someone betrays you, do you walk away quietly or do you make sure they face consequences? Tell me in the comments what you would do. Before this story begins, subscribe. You'll never look at relationships the same way again. My name is Andrew Cole. I'm 34 years old, a senior financial analyst at a tech firm in Seattle, Washington. For the past 7 years, I thought I had it all figured out. A beautiful wife named Betty, a 3-bedroom house in Queen and with a view of the Space Needle, weekend hiking trips to the Cascades, and a career that was finally gaining traction. We were that couple everyone envied at dinner parties. The ones who still held hands in public. The ones who finished each other's sentences. Betty and I met at the University of Washington during freshman orientation. She was studying marketing with these big ambitious eyes that made you believe she could sell ice to Eskimos. I was the numbers guy, the one who balanced checkbooks while other students blew their loans on beer and concerts. We just fit, you know? Or at least that's what I told myself every single day for 7 years. But here's something you need to understand about me before this story really begins. I grew up watching my father get destroyed by my mother. Affairs that everyone knew about except him, or maybe he knew and just couldn't face it. Financial manipulation that left him broke and broken. He never fought back, just accepted it with this sad, defeated smile that made me want to scream. I swore on everything I had that I'd never be that man. I swore if anyone ever betrayed me like that, I wouldn't just walk away quietly into the night. I'd burn the whole thing down and make sure everyone saw the ashes. 3 months ago, everything I believed about my marriage, about my entire life, shattered in the span of 15 minutes at a company Christmas party. And what I discovered afterward was so much worse than I could have ever imagined. December 15th. The annual Henderson Tech Solutions holiday party at the Grand Hyatt downtown. These things were always the same: overpriced open bar, desperate networking, and married people flirting like their spouses didn't exist. Betty had been working at Henderson for 2 years as a senior marketing coordinator. She loved these events, said they were important for her career, important for her future. Our future, she'd correct herself, but I always noticed that half-second pause. I usually made an appearance, shook some hands, smiled at the right people, then found a quiet corner with a drink to wait it out. That night I was standing near the dessert table talking to Jim from accounting about March Madness brackets when I noticed Betty across the room. She was laughing, but not her real laugh. That specific performance laugh she only did when she was nervous or trying to impress someone. The one that always made my stomach tighten just a little. She was talking to a man I didn't recognize. Tall, expensive tailored suit, that artificially whitened smile that sales guys always have. The kind of guy who probably called women sweetheart, and got away with it. Then I saw her boss, Marcus Henderson himself, walk over and clap the guy on the shoulder. They embraced like brothers, that backslapping hug men do when they've known each other forever. They were clearly close friends, and something about the way Marcus whispered something in his ear before glancing at Betty made my chest tighten. I started walking toward them, weaving through clusters of drunk colleagues, when someone grabbed my arm. Art. I turned to find Sarah Chen, Marcus's wife. We'd met a few times at previous events, exchanged pleasantries over catered salmon and small talk about Seattle traffic. She was a pediatric surgeon, brilliant and intimidating, the kind of woman who could silence a room just by walking into it. But right now her perfectly composed face was cracking. Her grip on my arm was trembling. "Andrew," she said, her voice tight and low, "is that your wife over there with my husband and Derek?" Derek. So that was his name. "Yeah, that's Betty," I said slowly, studying Sarah's face. Her jaw was clenched so hard I could see the muscles working. "Who's Derek?" Sarah's eyes never left the trio across the room. Marcus's college roommate. Also a pathological liar and the reason Marcus's first business partnership imploded 5 years ago. Cost them both nearly $200,000. But Marcus keeps him around because they're brothers for life. She said it with acid dripping from every syllable. I remembered Betty mentioning something weeks ago about Marcus reconnecting with an old friend who was helping with some business opportunity. She'd been excited about it, said Marcus was including her in important meetings. I'd been proud of her, thought her career was finally taking off the way she'd always wanted. Before I could respond, Sarah's eyes went wide. Her whole body went rigid. She was staring past me with an expression I'd never seen on another human being. I turned around. Time slowed down in that horrible way it does when your brain is trying to protect you from reality by stretching out the seconds. Derek had his hand on my wife's lower back. Not resting there casually. Possessively. Intimately. Betty was on her tiptoes, her fingers touching his chest, her head tilted up toward his. And they were kissing. Not a peck. Not a drunken mistake. A real, deep, intimate kiss. The kind that meant this wasn't the first time. The kind that meant they knew each other's mouths. My brain tried to rationalize it, maybe it's a misunderstanding, maybe I'm seeing it wrong, maybe it's the lighting or the angle. But my gut knew the truth immediately. That sick, dropping feeling in your stomach that tells you everything you feared is real. I noticed details and flashes. The way his thumb was stroking her hip. The way her hand curled into his lapel. The way they both had their eyes closed like they were savoring it. How long had I been standing there? 2 seconds? 5. It felt like hours. Every muscle in my body wanted to charge across that room, but I was frozen. Completely paralyzed. And then I heard Sarah's voice beside me, cold as winter rain. That motherfucker. She didn't finish the thought. She was already walking, her heels clicking against the marble floor with deadly precision. People instinctively moved out of her way. I followed, my legs moving on autopilot, my heart hammering so hard I could hear it over the Christmas music. Betty and Derek broke apart the moment they saw Sarah coming. Betty's face went ghost white. All the blood just drained out. Derek tried to play it cool, that slimy smile still plastered on his face like nothing had happened. "Sarah," he said, arms spread wide like they were old friends meeting at a reunion. "Great party, right? Marcus really outdid himself this year. The shrimp alone must have cost a fortune." The slap echoed through the entire ballroom. Conversations died mid-sentence. The music seemed to lower. Everyone within 30 feet turned to stare. Sarah had slapped Derek so hard his head whipped to the side. A red handprint bloomed across his cheek instantly, stark against his spray-tanned skin. "You piece of shit," Sarah hissed. Her voice was low but somehow carried across the silence. "You think I don't know what you are? What you've been doing?" Betty tried to speak, stumbling over words like a drunk person. "Sarah, it's not, we were just, I can explain." "Shut up," Sarah cut her off without even looking at her. Her eyes were locked on Derek like a surgeon about to make an incision. "Where's Marcus?" That's when I stepped forward. I don't even remember deciding to move. My body just carried me there until I was standing next to Sarah, staring at my wife. Betty looked at me like I'd appeared out of thin air. Like somehow in her panic she'd forgotten I existed, forgotten I was even at this party. Tears started forming in her eyes immediately. The performance was beginning. I'd seen this before years ago when she'd lied about crashing my car and blamed it on a parking lot hit and run. Same tears. Same desperate expression. "Andri, baby, please," she said, reaching for me. I stepped back. It was a mistake. I was drunk. It didn't mean anything. "How long?" I asked. My voice came out quiet. Too quiet. Betty blinked. "What? How long has this been going on?" Silence. In that silence I had my answer. If it had really been a drunken mistake, she would have said so immediately. Would have sworn up and down it was the first time. But she just stood there, mouth opening and closing, trying to find words that wouldn't destroy her completely. Sarah pulled out her phone. Her hands were shaking but her voice was steady. "I want to show you something, Andri. Something my private investigator found yesterday." She pulled up a video. Security camera footage. The timestamp read December 8th, 7:43 p.m. 1 week earlier. The video showed this same hotel. The lobby. And there was Betty walking in with Derek. Laughing. His arm around her waist. They walked straight to the elevators like they'd done it 100 times before. Sarah swiped. Another video. Hotel hallway. 6th floor. Betty and Derek walking to room 614. Derek pulling out a key card. Betty looking around nervously, checking over her shoulder before they went inside. Sarah swiped again. Timestamp December 8th, 11:17 p.m. Same hallway. Betty and Derek leaving the room. Betty adjusting her dress. Derek's shirt untucked. Her lipstick was gone. I felt like I was falling. Like the floor had opened up beneath me and I was dropping into nothing. "There are 4 more dates," Sarah said, her voice breaking for the first time. 4 other times in the past 6 weeks. Always this hotel. Always the same room. Derek has a corporate account here. Room 614 is practically his second office. Betty was crying now. Full waterworks. Mascara running down her face in black rivers. "Andri, please, I can explain. You don't understand. You're never home. You're always working late. I was lonely. I needed someone to talk to. I laughed. Actually laughed. It came out bitter and broken like glass cracking. So this is my fault? I worked too much so you had to fuck your boss's friend in a hotel room 4 times? That's the logic? That's not what I meant. Then what did you mean, Betty? Explain it to me. She couldn't. She just stood there sobbing. And for a moment, just a brief flash, I remembered the girl I'd met at freshman orientation. The one with big dreams and bigger smiles. The one who used to leave me notes in my textbooks. The one who cried when I proposed on that beach in Oregon. When did she become this person? Or had she always been this person and I just refused to see it? Where's Marcus? Sarah interrupted, still scanning the crowd. Her phone was still out, still showing those damning videos. He needs to see this. Right now. I spotted Marcus near the bar, very deliberately not looking in our direction. He was talking to some board members, laughing at something, his whole body language screaming I'm not involved. But when Sarah showed him the videos, his reaction told me everything. He wasn't surprised. He barely even looked at the phone. Just took a long drink of his scotch and sighed like this was an inconvenience. Sarah, he said tiredly, can we not do this here? Did you know? Sarah demanded. Marcus, did you know Derek was sleeping with Betty? He took another drink. I suspected, Marcus finally said. Sarah looked like he punched her in the stomach. All the air went out of her. You suspected? And you didn't tell me? You didn't warn Andre? You just let it happen? What was I supposed to say? Marcus snapped. Hey honey, I think my best friend might be having an affair with one of my employees, and by the way, it might be intentional. You would have thought I was paranoid. Intentional? I repeated. That word hung in the air like poison gas. What the hell does that mean, intentional? Marcus finally looked at me. Really looked at me. There was something like pity in his eyes, which made me want to hit him more than anything else that had happened tonight. Derek works for Summit Digital, Marcus said flatly. Our main competitor for the Boeing contract. $12 million on the line. I knew he was trying to get close to my staff for information. I just didn't think he'd actually succeed. And I definitely didn't think she'd be stupid enough to fall for it. Betty's face transformed from tears to pure horror. Her mouth fell open. Wait, what? Derek doesn't work for Summit. He's in real estate. Commercial properties. He told me he was looking at investment opportunities in Bellevue. He lied, Marcus said, no sympathy in his voice whatsoever. That's what Derek does. That's all he's ever done. He's a corporate spy. I've known him since college. He's been playing you, Betty. Using you to get information about our Boeing pitch. About everything. I watched my wife's face crumble as she realized she'd been played. Part of me felt satisfaction. Most of me just felt empty. Hollow. Like someone had scooped out everything inside. Did you give him anything? Marcus demanded, turning on Betty. Any files? Pitch details? Strategy documents? Client lists? Betty couldn't speak. She just nodded. Small, pathetic nods. Marcus closed his eyes and pressed his fingers against his temples. Fuck. What exactly did you give him? The Boeing presentation, Betty whispered. The pricing structure. The timeline. He said he wanted to help, said he knew people at Boeing who could give us insider information if he understood our approach. I thought I was helping the company. Jesus Christ, Marcus muttered. But I was barely listening anymore. My mind was racing, connecting dots, seeing patterns. I'd spent 3 years in college doing forensic accounting for a professor who consulted with the FBI. I knew how to trace money, uncover fraud, build airtight cases. I'd stopped because the work was depressing, but I'd never lost the skills. And standing there in that ballroom, watching my wife realize she'd been manipulated, watching Marcus try to calculate the damage, watching Sarah's marriage implode alongside mine, something inside me shifted. I had a choice. I could break down. Play the victim. Let this destroy me like I'd watched it destroy my father. Or I could fight back. I pulled out my phone and opened my secure notes app. Started typing rapidly. What are you doing? Betty asked, her voice small and scared. I ignored her. I turned to Marcus. I need your employee records. Betty's work emails. All communication logs for the past 3 months. Marcus frowned. That's confidential. I can't just give you access to company servers. Your company is about to lose a $12 million contract because your employee leaked proprietary information to a corporate spy, I said calmly. You're going to give me access, or I'm going to make sure every tech blog in Seattle knows that Henderson Tech Solutions has zero operational security and a CEO who knew about industrial espionage and did nothing. Your choice, Marcus. He stared at me for 10 long seconds. Then he nodded once. I turned to Sarah. I need everything your investigator found. All surveillance. All records. Everything. She pulled a USB drive from her purse without hesitation. Already ahead of you. I was planning to use this in divorce court, but you're welcome to it. I looked at Betty one last time. She was shaking, mascara running, reaching for me with trembling hands. Andrew, please. I love you. We can fix this. We can go to counseling. We can work through this together. No, I said simply. The word felt like ice in my mouth. We can't. You made your choice. You made it 4 times in 6 weeks. You made it when you gave company secrets to a man you were sleeping with. You made it when you laughed about me being clueless, when you let him mock me, when you turned our marriage into a joke. Her face went white. She didn't know I'd already started digging, already found some of those deleted text messages in her cloud backup. But she would. They all would. Now you get to live with your choices, I continued. And so does everyone else involved. I walked out of that ballroom. Didn't look back. Not at Betty crying. Not at Marcus trying to control the situation. Not at the crowd of people staring and whispering. I walked out into the cold December night, and for the first time in 7 years, I felt completely, utterly alone. And absolutely determined to make sure everyone responsible paid the price. If this shocked you, subscribe, like, comment, and share, because the next story is worse.